fantastic. I know JuliaGrace having flashbacks to upstate New York and her days with the parachute band. She joins me on the program now. Can I hear an amen, Julia?
Oh, amen. Absolutely. Those beautiful choirs, those beautiful robes, those beautiful people.
Yeah, absolutely fantastic. Well, from flashbacks to hot flushes. Gosh, that was a terrible link, wasn't it?
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
No, that was good. That was a good segue. I
Hey,
like it.
we are Women's Health Week this week, and something which
Hmm.
affects women, and it affects people in different ways, but it is a little bit of an awkward topic for people to talk about. Talking about menopause. Yeah, it's not an easy one to bring up in dinner time conversation, but perhaps we should talk about it more.
I really do think we should. And actually, when we started talking about having this conversation, my first thoughts were that this was something that used to be just a non-conversation. And in fact, I remember when I was young and, my mum was probably dealing with menopause and menopause symptoms, we never even really went there having those conversations. And I love the fact that we're having this conversation here because I do believe that we have got to get in early on these things. They shouldn't be taboo. They should be open to chat.
Yeah, exactly, and it is challenging. Part of the part of the difficulty with this, and this is true in many different aspects of life, because
Mm.
it's not talked about, you presume that everybody else is doing fine. Everybody else is coping. You're
Yeah,
you're the only one who's actually losing your mind on this one, so you just don't want to bring it
yeah,
up, right?
absolutely. And what we realize is that everybody is losing their mind on this. It's actually perfectly normal. It is okay. And I think it's probably one of the last frontiers of the female aging process that we're bringing this one into the public view
Yeah.
because what it's done is it's meant that by not talking about it, like you said, it gets confusing. We don't understand what to do. We don't know how to support one another. We don't know how to look after ourselves. And so, mostly, what women have done is we've ducked, we've run, we've hidden away, and people have actually got really confused as to whether what they're dealing with is a mental health challenge or simply menopausal symptoms,
Yeah.
or what's probably more likely to be a combination of the two.
Well, exactly, and it is the mental health aspect of this with hormonal change that does affect emotion regulation. I'm on thin
Yep.
ice here,
Yes.
mansplaining this to you, Julia. But it
I
does.
love that you're struggling even to say hormonal, but well
Yeah,
done.
well, thank you.
Yep.
This does affect people's mental well-being to the extent where they do think, am I just losing my mind? They're
Yep.
not able to do some things that they wouldn't have broken a sweat at previously. And it affects the way in which people see themselves and their capability and their value in some pretty devastating ways.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think from a male perspective, you obviously have hormones and testosterone, but that will continue throughout the course of a lifetime and possibly drop off later in life. But for women, hormonal changes are a roller coaster. So we talk about early in life, we're talking around having our children, or those periods of time, and then we're talking about another big change in later life. And so without getting into all the science of it, what I do want to say is a couple of really simple things here today. So first of all, it is perfectly okay to seek help for dealing with menopause, for dealing with perimenopause, that period of time before you have menopause, and actually getting help and support is really important. And the second thing is that there will be some times where people are feeling like they are definitely not themselves. And so what I would say is rather than muddling through and hoping for the best and wondering if you're going, off the deep end, go and find out for yourself. Head off to your GP, head off to your support system, find out whether what you're dealing with is simply hormonal, whether some HRT patches are going to help them brain fog and clarify and bring the body back in line, or in fact, you might need some more robust help and support with your mental health. But if you don't know and you don't find out, you're never going to be able to get clarity on that.
And even just the talking about it, because, we tend to go through life in packs, don't we? That our social circle seems to be people who are perhaps a similar age to us. I mean, there's exceptions, of course. But even having the conversation, talk to other friends who are perhaps going through the same thing and also not talking about it. Yes, people are going to have unique experiences, but there may be some support in knowing, hey, this is how I felt, this is what I did, this is the help that I got when you're considering the next step, right?
100%. And there's something really nice and gratifying about talking to someone else who goes, oh my goodness, I felt that too. And suddenly you feel like, hey, it might be challenging, it might be difficult, but you're not alone. And so going and getting, get some HRT patches. I've got HRT patches, I'm on one big patch underneath here, can really help with menopausal symptoms. Do not suffer in silence. Don't sit at home thinking, oh, this is my lot. Actually going, modern medicine has made some wonderful advances. Let's make the most of those things. Let's take advantage of them.
Yeah.
And then we can also then figure out what other supports we need. This is a great time to be opening the conversation, a great time to be gathering around with other women, and actually a great time to be able to say, look, let's support each other in this time. And for beautiful men like yourself, have that conversation, have it respectfully, but be open to listen. And I love that you're brave enough to even just go there. Well done.
Well, hey, thank you for that. And honestly, it is a natural process in some ways. And I know some people think, oh gosh, it's a natural process. This has happened since the beginning of time. People have gone through this. And so in some ways, nothing to be scared of, but just because it's a natural process doesn't mean that you shouldn't be getting some of the latest scientific developments to help you through this natural process, right?
Absolutely. And I can guarantee you that if we all had this experience, there would probably have been quicker and bigger changes in the way we cope with them.
If men had menopause, they would have solved it years ago. That's what you're saying, essentially, isn't it?
I didn't want to quite say it like that, but you can. Yeah, absolutely. So, let's take advantage of the things that we can. Jump on some podcasts, get onto Petra Vegas. There's an incredible podcast group areas talking about, this time of life. Actually, there's some wonderful things about this period of life, and we don't need to go underground and hide away anymore. We are no longer invisible. There are some incredible things that we can do in this part of our life that we may not have had the time or the space to do earlier. So let's grab hold of it. Stay in touch. I'm doing some work in my own area in this space of gathering women into cohorts to kind of take control, become the CEO of your own life at this period of time, because it's hard to do it alone, but it's great to do it together.
Yeah, no, super good stuff as always, Julia. Thank you for the work that you do. Thank you for taking the time to chat with us as well. Hey, people can check out more of the work that you do, including books and seminars and all sorts of things. They can follow you on the socials.
Absolutely. Best place to be, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, or jump onto my website and sign up for the newsletter. And that's a great way to stay in touch and get involved in that community. JuliaGrace.co.nz. Thanks so much for joining us. Thank you. Hey, thanks very much for joining us in the Rhema studio. Thanks very much for watching the interview. It's kind of nice to have an audience, actually. And if you did like what you watched, then do give us a like, do give us the thumbs up. And if you'd like to see more interviews like that one, or perhaps even better, subscribe and those interviews will come straight to you. Don't forget to turn on your notifications, and we'll see you in the next one. Cheers.